Look at this gigantic rally. All of these people waving flags of Türkiye were gathering to support the current president Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who's running in the presidential elections on May 14 against the man who the people in this rally are supporting, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, dubbed as Turkish Gandhi for his supposed ability to unite the opposition despite their key differences. Many view this election as a battle between two different, sometimes conflicting worldviews that would steer Turkey's approach to internal and external policies in entirely opposite directions, mainly the country's involvement in the Ukraine war, its role in the NATO alliance, its relationship with the US, the EU, and Russia, and last but not least, the migration policy regarding Syrian refugees. This is why the Turkish presidential election is considered the most important election of the year, especially since it's happening in the aftermath of a catastrophic earthquake that harvested tens of thousands of lives in Türkiye and Syria. In this video, we'll shed light on what would happen to the country's approach with Erdogan or Kılıçdaroğlu in power. But first, let's better understand the background that guides both candidates. Erdogan, Turkey's leader for the past 2 decades, is supported by his Islamist-rooted party, the AKP, and formerly opposition nationalist MHP party. This alliance goes back to 2018 and maintains parliament majority, but it's not without cracks, mainly due to MHP's growing influence in the police, intelligence, judiciary, and military. On the other hand, Kılıçdaroğlu, the secular economist who ran several times against Erdogan since 2010 and lost, is backed by a coalition of 5 parties in addition to his own party, the CHP. Now, let's take a look at the first point, the country's involvement in the Ukraine war. Under Erdogan, Turkey plays the role of a middleman between Russia and Ukraine, and how they do it is just unusual, but works for them. They basically sell drones to Ukraine, but refuse to sanction Russia. Apparently, both countries at war have no issue with it. They even let Turkey facilitate a UN-brokered deal that allows Ukraine to export grains. Not as before, of course, but it's still something. This kind of relationship between Turkey, Russia, and Ukraine is largely thanks to Erdogan's special relationship with Vladimir Putin, a relationship that might not be possible under the opposition leader Kılıçdaroğlu, who has already accused Russia of interfering in the elections by creating a deepfake campaign against him. He even said that if Russians want a good relationship with Turkey after the elections, quote-unquote, they should take their hands off the Turkish state. Next, the role of Turkey in the NATO alliance and its relationship with the US. On March 30, Turkey allowed Finland to join NATO. However, Sweden also applied to join the alliance, but its application got stuck because of a Turkish veto. The opposition pledges to end that veto and welcome Sweden with full membership. This would set well with the US, which experienced tensions with Turkey over its closeness to Russia under Erdogan. Lately, the US envoy to Turkey had a meeting with Kılıçdaroğlu, which infuriated Erdogan, who claimed that the US was interfering in the elections. But what about the European Union? Turkey's accession to the EU was held off in 2018 over the country's democratic backsliding. But the opposition is determined to change that by liberalizing the law, offering more freedoms to the media, and depoliticizing the judiciary. The opposition also aims to release 2 of Erdogan's best-known adversaries from jail, the co-leader of the pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party, Selahattin Demirtas, and human rights defender Osman Kavala, something that would signal true democratization of the country and anger Erdogan at the same time. Finally, the relationship between Turkey and the 4 million Syrian refugees it hosts is expected to see a dramatic change under the rule of the opposition. Kılıçdaroğlu promised that he would support the voluntary return of Syrians to their homeland. But is this feasible? We're talking about Syrians who've been living in Turkey for over 10 years now. They built lives there. Their children are culturally Turkish. You can't ignore these facts when talking about voluntary return, which to me sounds a lot more like go back home or we will make your life unbearable here. Turkey's presidential elections on Sunday stands to define much more than that. It stands to define the very spirit of the nation after exactly 100 years of its establishment at the hands of Ataturk? Will it continue on its course, leaning toward the East and alienating the West, or will it go back to its secular, West-friendly roots? It's definitely something to watch for. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this in the future, and see you soon.